All right. Now that you've seen those videos, I am going to kind of explain what's happened since. Now, the date currently is August 10th of 2021. So it's been 4 years since my mission started. About maybe a little bit over. But anyway, the time is 2:59 p.m. in Cypress, Texas. As you can see, I'm not in the same surroundings as I was before. Yeah, there's Belle. Hi, Belle. Hi. She's like, okay, whatever. But yeah, so I'm in the same surroundings or I'm in different surroundings, sorry, as I was before. Now, the reason for all this, and please excuse my stuttering and out of breathness. I haven't done a video like this for a little while on my mission or anything. But, yeah, I don't know if you could see it in the videos that had Dad in it, or any video with Dad. But I mean, I wasn't able to really see it for, what, 20 years? 21 years? So Dad's a narcissist. And I'm not making that up. Dad, is a narcissist, which I mean, I've heard people say that before, like, some family members, and I didn't really agree with it, because in my eyes, a narcissist was like Papyrus from Undertale, because I think I heard Game Theory or someone say that. So yeah, that was, and Papyrus is so likable, and so I'm like, well, okay, a narcissist, I kind of know what that is. Well, yeah, but anyway, so I didn't really know what narcissist was, and that's kind of important. So here's a story. So after my mission, so I remember, right, so I walked down the stairs of transfer conference, right? My brain took a minute, and it probably was just a few seconds, but I remember being up at the top of the stairs. I wish I could show you my mental image of this, but I was up at the top of the stairs, and so I turned the stairs in that grand kind of staircase of the Joseph Smith Memorial Building, JSMB. Turned the stairs, and there's a crowd of people there. And for all intents and purposes, I just say they're all there for me. They're not, but there's only, well, I guess there's only one other only one other person that they would be there for, which is Taylor Keeley, my first week companion, who also was my last day companion. But anyway, of the Keeley. So it was just there for us two, I think. So pretty much there's a big crowd of people there waiting to greet me. And I don't know if Keeley went down already or if he was next. He might have already gone down. It was very, very dramatic and kind of big. It was a big moment. I remember that. I kind of remember the feeling, but yeah, it was like nothing I'd ever felt before, and I don't think I can really describe it, but it's a big feeling. I remember waiting. I'm like, just a few more minutes after this meeting, I'm going down the stairs. And so I go down the stairs, right? Well, so I turn the corner, because the stairs kind of go down, and then it turns, and then, so it's it goes down this way, then it turns and goes down, maybe reverse, yeah, it goes down like this, and then it goes like that. Anyway, so I don't know how to explain it with my hands in this mirrored view. I don't know if it's mirrored actually, but yeah, anyway. Or yeah, it is mirrored to me. It's not reversed. Anyway, this is my left hand. Okay. Anyway, so I go down the stairs, I turn the corner, and I see everyone. My brain, stops for a minute. Or it feels to me. Because I had been living 2 years, I've been living 2 years with all these people who, originally I didn't know, but I got to know, and it was like my family and everything, and I was living this whole life. And then suddenly, there's all these people, this whole environment of people who I kind of could remember, but it was like it was from another life. And at that moment, it's like reality broke. I had two lives, and they suddenly became one, because I'm seeing all these people I spent the past 2 years with, all these people from this life, but in the same room are all these other people from another life. And it's like my mind needed a minute to comprehend that. But like it's like it did a flip, or like it wasn't a flip of a switch. But I don't know, it's hard to understand and hard to describe. But I I asked later, and like I asked mom or something, and I asked people, and they said that yeah, I did kind of stand there for a minute, or for a second, not a minute, but like for like there was, I lagged a bit. But I mean, I knew I still needed to walk down the stairs, and so I walked down the stairs, of course, and everyone's like cheering and happy and greeting me, and it was like so kind of overwhelming. Noah was having a hard time with something, but I'm like, I don't know, I don't know the drama right now, and I don't care right now. This is my moment. And I love Noah and everything. I love everyone, but this is my moment. I mean, I've been looking forward to this moment for the past 2 years, or let's say 23 months, week and 8 days or something, or a couple weeks, 8 days. I don't know. But I've been looking for, yeah, so like 23 months, a couple weeks and 8 days or something. Almost practically 2 years. But I had a spreadsheet too, but it was just all this, and I mean, none of my, like, I don't think any of my close friends from high school came. Of course, they might not have known. I don't know. I mean, 2 years was like kind of hard for them to comprehend, not being members of the church, but I assume anyway. But so they weren't there. But I don't remember everyone who was there, but I was okay with it. I was happy, and sorry, notification on my phone, but yeah, I remember that. And so anyway, sorry, getting out of that moment a little bit, out of my head. So I wanted to show everyone everything, I wanted to show, but I mean, I knew we probably wouldn't have time for that. And so we had agreed previously that Dad would pick up my stuff, and I was like half expecting like a U-Haul trailer or something. Of course he didn't bring that, of course. Now looking back, of course he wouldn't. But even if which I think I did kind of ask for. I mean, I didn't ask outright, but like I was really thinking, oh, okay, well, I'm telling him I have a lot of stuff, and maybe you should put two and two together. I've been telling him that in a few different ways. Anyway, but I actually had to give a box away to Elder Walker. It was like I had saved a bunch of candy and a bunch of snacks and things like that that I had gotten on the mission, like stuff people had sent me and stuff I had picked up here and there. And I had a NOS energy drink in there that that someone had given to me, and I'm like, just because I wanted to try it at some point, just see what would happen. But yeah, so I didn't. That was in there. I had it was like set for a movie night. Perfect box. Like you could eat it all and have a great time, or you probably wouldn't be able to eat it all in one movie. But it was great, and I gave that to Elder Walker because we just didn't have enough room for it in Dad's little car. But yeah, so, and plus he had 2 other people in his car because he brought he was helping with family down. I don't know why. I mean, I told him I had a lot of stuff. I don't know why he agreed to. I'm thinking about it now. Like, why did he agree to drive 2 people? I mean, did he think I wasn't serious? And I think he was thinking more about his own mission. Like, oh, well, I just fit everything in like a few boxes. Yeah, my mission's different. You don't know what to expect. And if I'm telling you I've got a lot of stuff, I've got a lot of stuff. But anyway, sorry. Agitation aside. So packed up all the stuff from the apartment and everything. And then I went and stayed with Mom. I think it was at Grandma and Grandpa Benion's, where the week before my mission, the week before the first week, I was staying at the Grandma and Grandpa Benion's also, so Greg's parents, my stepdad's parents. I was staying there with them before and then also after my mission, so that was neat. But after we were there for like, I don't know, maybe a day or a couple days or something, I don't know. And I got, yeah. So, and I had worried about it before, so I asked President Fenn, um, like, and I think it was my last meeting with him, interview with him or something. I had asked, okay, well, what are the rules kind of like in between being released as a missionary and and like leaving mission bound, or like not being on the mission anymore, but still a missionary, still under that, um, I mean, my mom's technically my companion and things like that. Of course, I was like, I look back now, I'm like kind of overthinking this, because you realize things after the fact. But um, yeah, and so I kind of knew a few things like I don't have to wear my name badge, but I'm still gonna be respectful, upright, things like that. But anyway, so and then later on I found out being released from a mission is basically just being told thank you for your service by the appropriate leader. Yeah, and I didn't know that, but that was kind of a neat moment too. But anyway, so I go back home with mom. I think we flew back. Yeah, we flew back. And yeah, and so then I spent 3 weeks here, back in Cypress, Texas and later on I found out that I had only been in this ward for like 2-3 months before I left. I thought it was 8 months, but which is kind of more comforting, seeing how I couldn't remember anyone, and I was like, oh, I've been here so long and I don't remember anyone, and I mean, but it was so short. I didn't realize that because I did a lot of math on these things on the mission because I never really thought about it. I never was really in the position to mentally or emotionally anything, intellectually. I just didn't really have to think about it. Didn't even try to think about it till then. It's only when I was on my own and kind of had to know these things that I tried to make sense of it. But yeah, so I did. So I spent 3 weeks here in this house in Bridgeland, packing things up and stuff like that, and kind of getting back into things. But I didn't really have anything to do other than pack things up and stuff like that. And then on July 17th of 2019, which is exactly 2 years after my mission started, when I got there on the mission and everything, that's when I flew back to Utah again to live with Dad. And that was interesting. I was on my own, going on the plane and everything, and that was interesting. And this is all from memory, so hopefully I got everything right. I'm trying to only say what I am very certain of. But yeah, so I flew back on that day, and lived with Dad for a year and a half about. Now, so the videos you saw in this, unless I add more or something, which I don't think there's much more. There might be more to add if I add the ones from my phone. But anyway, if there are some that are higher quality like this, then that's probably from my phone. But anyway, yeah, so when we moved there, Dad was in the duplex, and I found out all these things about Stephanie, which now I don't really care about. I don't know who was in the right, who's in the wrong, and honestly, I don't care. It's not in my life anymore, and I don't really want to think about it. I don't want to pass judgment before I know all the facts, and so I'm just not going to worry about it right now. Not going to think about it. But basically, according to Dad, Stephanie, basically used him for his money or something. And I mean, I think there's more to it, seeing how Dad's a narcissist. But anyway, I'm like, okay, well, that's wrong. And I really sided with Dad for a lot of things there. But I remember, like, the first day or two, really, mostly probably the first day when I arrived there, I was totally out of my comfort zone because, and it's not just comfort zone, it's also just out of my element, everything. Because the way things worked at Dad's, I couldn't really play. I mean, I can't really place anything on it now, and for most of the time I was there, I couldn't. But I know at the beginning I could. I could place certain things weren't right. It didn't feel right. Things didn't work correctly from what everything I learned on the mission, how things should work. It was not that way, and I tried to make things work. I tried to change what I could. Nothing ever changed. Yeah, nothing really ever changed. But I tried to talk with Noah and help him, and I tried to keep things just and true and go by the Spirit as much as I could and go. And I honestly believe, at least at certain points, I honestly believe I did go by the Spirit. I really hope I did. And I think I must have. But things weren't very good while I was there for the year and a half. My original plan, my plan when I got there, everything was on this plan was I'd live with Dad for a little bit, maybe a year at most. And I'm remembering this now, a year at most, and I would move out. I would just kind of did. I felt Dad had some wisdom, and I was thinking like about how bills work, how lots of things worked. Dad had some wisdom that I could use, and so I wanted to learn it from him, and maybe spend a little time with him too. Have some fun. Spend some time with my father that I didn't really get to spend much time with before my mission, and of course on my mission. And yeah, and just kind of spend some time with Dad and learn a few things, and then really kind of go off on my own and get a job, maybe work in a call center or something. I don't know. Go to school. School was a big college. I really wanted to be ready for college. Mom and I set everything up for it while I was here. And then with Dad, since I didn't really understand a few things that we had done, Dad tried to help me with things and everything. But by the time it was time for college. It was like literally down to the last day before, or I don't know if it was right before college started or I don't know. It was very last minute that I was praying and praying and praying, and I realized I'm not ready for college. And so I called last day, last minute, everything, and said, cancel it all. I'm sorry, I'm not making it this year. And I was going to go to the LDS Business College, which is now called Ensign College, in Salt Lake City, Utah. We had gotten, I was going to take like, I don't know, like not the tracks, but like tracks for like the bus. I got a bus pass, everything. I had my backpack, I had everything, but I decided I'm not ready for college. And now I'm looking at it and seeing why, but I went and, yeah, so I decided maybe I should just look for a job and work my way and work up into a company. So, because of my anxiety, I had so much anxiety, and I felt I was over medicated. I probably was over medicated when I was young. And I just changed medications, maybe a couple times, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2, 3 times tops. I switched medications, and I was taking a lot less than I did, and I wasn't hyper focused, like ultra focused on whatever. I wasn't like above the classroom watching myself listen to the teacher. Or watching myself on the desk. I wasn't thinking about everything, every single little detail about everything anymore. I wasn't hyper focused on everything again, which was actually good, because that's what I believe caused my anxiety originally. So now I kind of had that more under control, but I was having anxiety attacks, or at least after a while they became more common. But anyway, before I was really having anxiety attacks, but really before I had anxiety attacks, I was spending time. So I worked at IHOP, which Mason worked at, but he left they didn't get as much notice, and so that wasn't good, but they liked Mason and stuff like that, and so I was working there. Then I ended up working at Taco Bell. I worked at Taco Bell for a long time. I worked there while I started working at, what was it? It was, I was trying to get at hotels or something. No, wait, let's see. I worked at Taco Bell while I started working at Megaplex. Yeah, I was working at Taco Bell and Megaplex. but then COVID happened, and Megaplex, I was working like one short shift a week. And I was trying to move from Taco Bell to Megaplex because Taco Bell was kind of messed up a little bit, just with, I don't know, management or something. Dad also swayed me on a lot of things, so I don't know exactly for everything. But um, yeah, so I was trying to move away from Taco Bell because I didn't want to stay there forever. And I worked there for probably like 8, 9 months. When IHOP, I worked there maybe 2 months. Um, yeah, all this stuff. And so a Megaplex wasn't working. And so I went and started working at a call center. Let's see. It was, and I mean, I found out while I was there, like in training, that it was more like outsourcing, I guess. I think that's the word for it. Like where basically, um, so basically, I worked for this company, Harlan Clark, but um, other companies would basically, like, we'd, I guess, sell the employees time to other companies like USAA, or no, not USAA, but like different banks. So basically I was working for a bank through another company. It was hard to wrap my head around it at first, but yeah, so I did that for about a month, or yeah, I did that for about a month, and it was pretty good. Not like my favorite thing, but I mean, I was able to do it, and yeah, no, yeah, I was kind of liking it. I had my own desk, like cubicle sort of thing. They had just changed a bunch of things, but there were a lot of cubicles that were empty, but um, and it was kind of like this was the program thing we were working on right now. Like this is our thing for the moment. And so yeah, I was doing great. A lot of it was like, oh well, I'm sorry, sort of thing. I had to pretend I was an agent for that company, even though I wasn't. And said, well, I could transfer you to this person, and a lot of what I was saying, I look at it now, I'm like, a lot of what I was saying was, sorry, we can't help with that right now, or sorry this, or sorry this. I was a lot of sorries, but oh, that's what I was told to do, what I was paid to do, and I did my best on everything I could. I tried to resolve conflicts, problems. I used systems for lots of things. We couldn't keep any paper or pencils or anything at our desks because they didn't want us to write down information, like say social security numbers or whatever, or driver's license or whatever. I mean, that was a big thing. So no paper or pencils in the entire building. Yeah, but also yeah, and it was it was interesting. We did that, and I already had call center experience for my mission, so it was like, okay, well, I mean, I felt that was the right direction to go. So I did that, and then I remember coming in on a Monday after like being there about a month. Everything's great. I even had Pokemon plushies at my desk, and I was like kind of the Pokemon guy, and I had a bunch of little things on my desk. There was still some anxiety, but not really much of the main anxiety I've had in my life. It wasn't like I felt really relaxed, and I felt really good with things, and I felt things were going great. Then I come in on a Monday. There's like not many people there or whatever, and I mean I was always coming in early. It's great. I was That's where I started whistling. Mr. Rogers, "It's a Wonderful Day in the Neighborhood," or whatever the song's called, and I was or his little theme, his song. I was whistling that on like the way out to go home or in the mornings or whatever, and I every for a while every day I was bringing like a plush or something like that, and I would bring something in the car like a little Pikachu plush, and later on I gave that to Casey, my dog, but that little Pikachu plush. But I mean, it was like a little friend, and it was just having fun with it. I mean, I could technically probably just come in my PJs, and it was like they couldn't see me, and it was just fine. But I came in on a Monday, and I was there early and stuff. And before I was able to, or no, no, no. So I finished the work for the day, and I'm thinking, where's so and so, and where's so and so? I mean, there were a couple people I really liked there, and good people. And at the end of the day, they said, "All right." And they basically said, "All right, now go home, and we'll call you because this project has ended." And the bank we were helping with, I mean, I didn't know until now, but this project's ended, go home, and we'll call you when we need you next. And I'm like, wait, what? As far as I knew, this was a 9 to 5 job every single day or every week. I got off at like 2 or 3. So I guess not to 5, but it was like a great job where I always got off the same time. I had time after work. Everything was fine. I was not stressed out so much. It was good. And suddenly, it's like I don't have a job. I'm like, what? And you guys are just gonna call me? I didn't say that. Oh, I was professional to them, but I'm like, wait, really? And so yeah, and it's basically just, oh, this is how it is. This is how it works. Didn't say it like that, but that's what I got from it. And so I'm like, okay, so I go home, and I'm just trying to wrap my head around this, and I'm like, okay, well, not gonna stick with this job. So I go and I go home, and I'm like, okay, I need to find a new job stat. Like, now pretty much don't have a job. And so go find another job. I quit that one, go to another one. I think, what was it? I might have worked for another, oh, wait. I'm trying to remember. Did I work for, I'm trying to remember. Well, I ended up working. Yeah, that's right. So I ended up working for another company called Teleperformance. Or I go in for an interview, and it was great, kind of between Teleperformance and, like, I don't know, it was like where they just have a bunch of companies and stuff, like, kind of. I remember I passed some cool cars and stuff on the way to work every morning, every evening when I got off or whatever. But there was a lady named Valerie that worked there, came in our group. She was probably one of the oldest people in the group, that came in and, like, to start working for Teleperformance. I don't know how long I was there. I was probably there for like a month or two. I think it was like a month of training, and then yeah. But it was kind of similar, except they focused on USAA, and it's like, yeah, so we're a different company, but we basically work for USAA, which is it's just not United States of America Association or something like that. It was USAA. It's basically for United Servicemen, something I don't remember, but basically for people who had been in the military or army or whatever, and it was like meant for those families. This whole bank and everything, and it was great. And they started like I don't know, they started something like that everything uses now, with like mobile bank stuff, or I can't remember what it was, but they were like the first ones who did it, and to make it so like you got your money immediately, for like the families or whatever. I don't remember, but we learned a lot, a month of training and stuff like that every day, and I was getting paid for it. I was happy, learning a lot of things, really trying to wrap my head around things. I mean, there were problems with training, but when are there not problems in the training class, like with how it works or set up or anything? I'm used to that, from the mission and all sorts. But anyway, so we went through training, did that, and it was great. And we I started working there, and I was assigned a certain place, and like we didn't really have our own desks. Like, it kind of just wherever you could, which had working technology, because a lot of people, because of COVID, were working from home or something. And eventually that became more apparent that we're probably going to start working from home. I really was hoping not to, because I was worried, oh, well, I hope I don't stress out and stuff, because I was starting to have, at some point during all this, I started having anxiety attacks, where like on the way to work, or really it was just like, oh, well, I have to go to work, but I don't want to. And it took a long time for me to kind of realize that's why that is, like, it's somewhere I have to be that I don't want to be. And that was really causing it a lot, and things like that. It took a long time for me to process and figure out things with my anxiety and just things in general, because the more time I had spent with Dad, like at Dad's, I mean, and just with Dad, the more sour things started to be, I guess. maybe not sour, but like things started getting worse slowly. I wasn't able to think as clearly. I wasn't able to process so much, and Dad and I would fight sometimes. And around the end of it, it was fighting like every day, or very often, like multiple times a week, and it was terrible. But anyway, so I mean, Dad and I like our one thing we actually had together at one point was we would watch Hawaii Five O, the newer one that went on for like 10 seasons. We would watch that together. We never finished it, but yeah. And so anyway, so things weren't great at home. Dad was always like pushing, okay, get a job, do this. And I talked with Mom later on, now that I'm here, and I find out that, well, a lot of the advice Dad was given, it doesn't apply anymore because things have changed since he's went out and got a job. I mean, yeah, he's got a different job in Wells Fargo and stuff like that, and he's pretty much transferred over to another department, things like that. But he started at Wells Fargo years ago, and things have changed. People don't like resumes that have multiple pages. They just want everything, all the information on one sheet, easy to understand, and good stuff. And I mean, there's like maybe one or two things, good things from him that I learned that was good, like following up. That's a good thing. Call the people back, that's good. But there was just, and it wasn't just that, it was lots of different things. And it wasn't like he was beating me or something like that, but it was mental abuse and neglect. That's kind of what it was. That's the best way I can describe it anyway, right now. But anyway, continuing on with the story. So, I mean, I was having a hard time with things, and my anxiety was getting worse. And I was trying to cope with things. I felt for the longest time since like day one that, or not day one, but like maybe the second month, I felt like I needed a companion, like a dog. I wanted a dog. I missed Belle most on my mission. I missed Betty. Hi, she was by my foot. But I missed her a lot on the mission. There was a time where I had a dream, or no, there were times. There was a time on my mission I was having a really hard time sleeping, and I swear I could feel Belle's presence right next to me. And I was kind of like laying this way or whatever, or yeah, like this or something. Or no, it was like that probably. Anyway, I was laying on the bed, laying on my stomach, with my head turned, and I swear I could feel Belle was laying right next to me on my other side. And so I feel with my other hand or whatever, I feel over and I look over, and of course she's not there. I'm on my mission. I'm a missionary. Nothing else is living in my bed. Just me. But yeah, no bed bugs. But it was just bizarre. And then later on, around the last few months of my mission, there were maybe 5 times, maybe probably like 2 or 3, maybe 3 times where I like swear for like a moment I could see a glimpse, like Belle just running by my feet, or on the ground, on the floor somewhere in the apartment. I don't know, it was something mental, and I really missed Belle. I wanted pictures of her, I wanted video of her, I missed her, I wanted to cuddle with her, I loved her, and I really missed her during my mission. And so now, I mean, I got to spend some time with Belle a little bit, and she missed me too, apparently, while I was gone on my mission. But now that I was kind of, I guess I got to see Belle a little bit during the 3 weeks probably. And then now I've been with Dad for a little bit, and I'm really kind of starting to miss that. And over time, I really wanted a dog, but like in the duplex, we couldn't do it. And we'd have to wait till we moved or something. I really wanted a dog that I could cuddle with and hold and things like that. I was also having trouble with my temptations and things like that, but that's another story. But things were getting worse at Dad's. But anyway, so I'm working for Harlan Clark, which is, no, not Harlan, Teleperformance, which is USAA, basically. And we're doing great with that. I kind of have, like, we don't have our own desk, like I said, but, like, it kind of couldn't really bring stuff to put on my desk. I think they didn't want anything, really, on your desk. Like, I asked, is it okay if I have, like, some putty or something to just do something with my hands for? Because I could remember Elder Lupke, Jonathan Lupke, he would always have Trunky the elephant, and where did I put? Oh no, I've got Trunky. Sorry, I'll explain that in a minute. But I remember he would always be playing with that in one hand while he was in the collections zone while he was doing stuff on the computer or whatever. He would always play with that or no, that was not in collections. It was in data services, in the contact center on the mission. That's where he would do it a lot, and he kind of did a little bit, I think, in collections probably. I don't really remember for sure, but anyway, so I was thinking like, oh yeah, well, and then also in my other job, I had Pokemon plush and stuff like that, and so it's like, yeah, okay, that's all right, like with something. So I think I had like one thing or something, and it kind of changed a couple times, but like I couldn't really have action figures or anything like that, especially since it wasn't my desk, and so I don't know. Or I think maybe we could have some things, but I don't know. It's just, it didn't really happen. So, yeah, and we were able to talk and stuff like that. And, but there were a lot of times where I needed help, but I wasn't able to get much help from anyone because there was barely anyone there, except for like the people who came in with me. But anyway, as time went on, maybe a few weeks after we were there, or maybe a month after we were there, I don't know. I was really finally getting accustomed to it and to my surroundings and everything, and I was feeling great. And it was right at that time where, basically they said, we're going to send you home and we're going to have you start working from home. And like, okay, I guess I was next on the list or whatever. So I get my equipment, go home, start setting it up. And so I'm going to start, I think at the same time the next day or like that next week or something. Make sure everything's hooked up. We've got a wire going to the router or something like that. I don't remember. And Dad's working from home too. And so I was like, oh, okay. So so now I took down my own computer in my room because there's no space. Everything, oh yeah, I didn't mention that. At the duplex, everything was crowded. There was no space for anything. I don't even know if I know where all my stuff is gone. But anyway, we cleaned it up. But anyway, so I mean, and the bed was messed up. Everything, there was a lot of problems there. It was not a happy home. But anyway, I had so now I was just hoping like, okay, Noah, don't make sound when I'm working from home. Like if he's ever at home at the same time, or like I can't have noise because and I couldn't even use my own headset, and it was just but just crowded, and it was in the room I slept. So I took down my own computer, put everything on that little tiny whatever, I guess it's a desk, got everything working, and and started that next week, and that's where things kind of went bad, or where some things really kind of went bad, where I realized things, that I was already in fear of, and turns out they were true, and more true than I really wanted them to be. I was able to spend 3 days working from home. First day it was kind of like okay, and I was kind of having a hard time breathing. I feel like breathing doesn't do anything for me when I have anxiety attacks. I really don't, and I want to get that figured out. But anyway, so and I was having anxiety attacks a lot, but or after this especially. But I guess I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure on a lot of things, but the first day it was really hard. Just getting in to work and stuff like that. And they didn't want us to be late, and especially it's like if you're working from home, you're gonna be late. And so, but I was able to get into work, and I did a lot of things. But it was really hard, especially like in between calls and stuff like that. Like it was like one after another, which is already kind of high level stress. But then I was having a hard time anyway, just because it was at home and like all these distractions, stuff like that. I was trying not to be distracted. But it was just kind of hard. And then the second day, same thing, but like at least twice as bad, maybe 3 times. At least twice as bad. And so, good girl. So it was really hard. It was hard the second day just to start work. I just couldn't. I was like stressing out. I was just so scared, everything. And Dad's, trying to calm me down, but he's like, we're doing whatever. And I'm just like, stressing out, dying. The third day, I could hardly do it at all, and I think I left. I left work early, probably for FMLA or something like that, trying to get that to apply. And it's hard to get it to apply when you haven't been there for a year, like most jobs. And it was nuts, and I called him. I can't do this, and I don't know. I don't remember exactly how I did it, but I ended my time with the company. I A week or two later, sometime later, I returned all the equipment. Um, I mean, it was within reasonable time. They were fine with the timing. But I returned all the equipment, and I was just, I couldn't handle it. And I figured later the reason why I couldn't handle that was because there was no, so at Dad's, I had no safe area, if that made sense. I didn't have a place where it was just me. Because I mean, like, I shared a room with Noah, a 20-year-old sharing a room with Noah, with a 10-year-old or 11-year-old or 21. I don't know. I don't remember. I'm 22 somehow. But yeah, I just, I don't know. But it was hard, and I didn't have a safe area. Another thing, it was a toxic relationship. Didn't really see it that way, but a little bit. There were times throughout the time while I was with Dad where I just felt this certain way. I felt things weren't good, and I mean, I would often try and not tell Dad, "Oh, you need to do this, you need to do this," but like eventually it got to the point with certain things where I'm doing everything I can. I've gone all the way out of my way. I opened myself completely up 100 or 360 degrees. I opened myself up here, and I am dying. I am struggling. I am having such a hard time. And I'd tell Dad things like that. There were times where I even tried to word it so that he could understand, but it was just like, it was always like, I was trying everything, and it's like he was sincerely trying to understand and try to help, but I mean, he always had reasons for things or whatever, and I'm just like, I'm struggling. And so I'm like, Dad, when you say this, I think this, so please try saying it this way, because that will make more sense to me. I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to do things, and I would always end it with an increase of love as much as I could. I would always try. I always would, and it's just not good. But I ended up working, and I couldn't do it anymore. And so I left Teleperformance. I returned the stuff a little while after, and I got a job at, I got a job up in like Clinton because I was looking for receptionist jobs, because I'm like, I can't be in a call center anymore, and especially if I'm working from home, but and I felt burned out in the call center anyway. So I was looking for a receptionist job because I can sit at a desk. I've done that on my mission. I know I can do that. And so I'm like, well, okay, I'll do that. And so I was able to get one up in Clinton, which was far. But yeah, just like a little Super 8 motel, like off the freeway or something, or off like, I don't know, it was like by a gas station. There was like, wasn't much out there, but I was able to get a job there as a receptionist, and it wasn't very well kept up. I mean, it was Super 8, but I worked with that. I did the best I could. I was a receptionist, but there were even problems there because, like, people there, English wasn't their first language, obviously. There was, like, no one there where English was the first language. There was one where Spanish was, and then one where it was, like, Indian or something like that. I'm like, okay. I'm trying to do this, and then also, I didn't know I had to fold laundry, too. And like the towels and stuff like that, but apparently I did, and so I did that. I didn't really like that because that wasn't what I was expecting, but oh well, did it anyway. And I had to mop the floors, things like that. I thought it was going to be more of a receptionist job. I'm thinking like a big hotel with lots of receptionists for a lot of the jobs, but this was just the only one who called back, or who I was able to get an answer from, or were willing to take me. So I did that. Of course, I'm following everything Dad says. Not work on Sundays and do this and this. I mean, now I know if you've got to work on a Sunday, you've got to work on a Sunday. Um, I mean, it's not something I like to do. I try and schedule it so I don't miss any church. But like, if you're struggling, if you're really struggling, you can work on a Sunday. It's just like this. It's similar to like if someone swears at work and you don't like that, well, they swore. You've got to deal with it. You know, we're here so that we go through trials, so that we learn and we grow and know who we are, what we want, what we don't want, and understand things. And sometimes we got to give. You know, pick your battles. As Dad would say, pick your battles. But anyway, and I don't know, maybe part of it was me. I don't know, but I I was working there and it wasn't as good, and I'm thinking, okay, I kind of want to move on from this. So I start working at Subway, or was it in Clinton? No, Subway was in Clinton. I don't remember. I don't know where the Subway was. Oh, so we moved at this point. I think it was at this. Let's see. We moved. Yeah, we moved while I was working for Super 8. I'm pretty sure. We moved to a bigger house, which was like awesome and stuff like that. I actually had space. I actually had my own room. It's a pink unicorn room, but whatever. And actually was able to unpack some of the things from the mission, after, being in that house for over a year. But, and the duplex, I mean, for over a year. But, or I think it had to have been at least a year. But I was yeah, so we moved. I got a job. We moved more north, I think. Um, yeah, yeah, we moved more north, and that's where Dad lives right now. But it was hectic trying to get everything out of. Oh, there was Thomas Lubers, in my old ward before we moved. Oh, great man, I like that guy. We went four wheeling, and that was fun. I got video footage of that. I don't know if I'll include that, probably, if I can, but a little bit at least. But yeah, this is getting kind of long anyway. But anyway, so we moved. It was hectic getting everything out of there and all this stuff. It was nuts. But we went more north, I believe, and then I was still working at Super 8. Then I started working at Subway up in Clinton. I think that one was that was in Clinton. I don't remember where the other one was, but I want to say it was more north than Clinton, but I don't remember. But it was still kind of far, but I think we're a little closer. But anyway, so I kept working. I was working for Subway. I don't know if it was now, but at some point I had gotten, maybe it was before we moved, but at some point on my way to Super 8. I mean, I was having anxiety attacks very often, very, very often. It was just more and more. And I had an anxiety attack, or I felt really, I think I had anxiety attacks or something. I felt really tired. I was so tired on the way to work. I was like almost dozing off, and I couldn't think to pull over and call in or something, but I was kind of starting to think that, but then I was pulled over by a cop. Apparently a couple people had called to me because I kept kind of swerving out of their lane. They didn't know if I was drunk or what, and I was just, and like I could barely keep my eyes open, and oh no, that what it was a side effect of the medication I had just begun taking or something. That's what it was. Or something, I don't know. It made me super sleepy, and which I've never really experienced that much before. And so I obviously wasn't sick with that medicine, just barely, or it was like anxiety medication, but it made me sleepy. I don't know. I don't remember, but yeah, or something. I don't know. I had two medications, one, or at least two, but for this I had two. One where I kept it in my car or whatever if I was having a real bad anxiety attack or something, trying to get it sorted out. But yeah, so I got pulled over. I got a ticket because I still had my Texas license, not a Utah one. and it was basically like if I had a Utah license, it would have been okay. But yeah, so, or I think that's what this was. But anyway, later on got a plea in abeyance for that. But anyway, so that was that. That was more stress, and there were times where my anxiety attack was so bad, I called into work and said I'm sorry. And like there was even one time where like I got to work, but because of the anxiety attack, I did not feel comfortable going inside. And so I went home, but I would call them and say, I'm sorry, I can't make it in today. Which, you know, you never want to do that. Like when they're expecting you, just right before, minutes before you're supposed to be there, because you're already running late because of anxiety, and then you have such bad anxiety that you're like, I'm sorry, I can't. You don't ever want to do that. But I felt that was I had to. And I didn't want to be at work. I didn't want to do anything. There were times while I was with Dad where I mean, often I was depressed. There were times where I was really lethargic, even, which I learned that word from Zach Garfield. So, you know, but, or I just didn't want to do anything. I was demotivated. There were times where I was just done. I was so done. I was tired of living, you know. I mean, I didn't commit suicide, but I didn't try, but I was so done. I'm like, God, if you're gonna take me now, please. I mean, I was really close to that, and I was just so depressed and so tired. But I decided. So I was working for Subway too now, and working there more. I was rarely getting hours with Super 8 because I wonder why I wasn't able to show up for most shifts. I was working for Subway, and that was a very healthy atmosphere. I was trying to figure things out, and a little bit. There were people there that were in high school and closer to my age and things like that. People I could really talk to, because at Super 8 there was no one I could talk to, no one. And I mean, the people who I could talk to, I don't know if they understood half of what I was saying, or more than half. I mean, I don't know. I was able to bring my Switch there around the end of it a little bit. That was nice, but I don't know. I didn't really feel less comfortable doing that, because I'm like, even though I didn't have anything to do, and because it wasn't super popular or anything, I don't know. There was a lot there, but I'm not going to get into all that because this thing's already long enough. But yeah, so and it's not really important, but I was working for Subway and stuff like that, and I was still having anxiety attacks, but it was less common with Subway, but it was still happening more, and I was late. I was running late for work for whatever reason, probably maybe anxiety, I don't know. I think it was anxiety, but I was trying not to be anxious and stuff, but I was really racing. And there was this one street where it's like never anyone there, and it's like, oh, I don't know if it was like a low speed limit, which didn't make much sense to me. And so I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm late for work and there's no one here, barely anyone. And so I'm going to go. And apparently I almost hit a car that was in an occupied lane. I don't know. But no, I don't know. It was like I was close to a car, but I didn't hit it or anything. I don't know. Maybe I didn't see all of what was going on. I don't know. But there was a time where, so apparently a cop was behind me. I didn't know. I don't think he had his lights on or anything. And I go turn the corner really fast because it was a light, and Subway was just down that street. I was almost there. I turned the corner real fast, and I don't know. I think maybe that was when I went close to a car. I don't know, or it was occupied or something. I don't know. And I was going like 47 in like I don't know, 35 or 40 zone. I don't remember, but I was going above the speed limit before that turn, and so I did the turn. I mean, no crash, nothing like that. It wasn't that bad. It was just like, yeah. I was just in a panic, and because of anxiety. But the cop, for some reason, thought that I was trying to make a getaway or something because of what was going on. And it was at that point where I noticed the cop behind me. I'm like, oh, and I think he turned his siren on at that point, or had the lights on. I don't remember. But I was only then, after the turn, that I noticed. And so there was a lot of path there, so I go pull off and stop. I guess he thought that I was going to try and drive off or something, not after he pulled me over, but like before, or like I was going to try and get away. And I just didn't notice him until then. I don't know how long he had been there either, but we were all I think I had just gotten my user license or something. I don't remember. But because of that, I'm guessing probably because he thought I was gonna try and get into a pursuit was the words he used. He thought he was gonna have to get into a pursuit with me, or something. I don't know how, but I seriously don't know how. But there was that, and so I got another ticket, and which is bad for a plea in abeyance, because what a plea in abeyance is basically I won't have any more tickets for the next year, and then this whole thing will be dropped. I think maybe I had to pay money too. I don't remember, but so I was like, oh great. I mean, I'm still in the Impala that I bought from Dad for $1,000. The 2004 Chevy Impala LS. Gold sedan, four door, but yeah, it has some issues with, I don't know if it has anything internal, nothing I've found yet, but it's got, it's in decent shape. It's got some scuffs, and it's got a little rust on the right side back door. It's got some aesthetic problems, little quirks here and there, but anyway, I'm still driving that, and I'm just like, oh crap. And so I'm like, shoot. And so I work that day, that shift or whatever. I come home and talk to Dad, because of course I talk to Dad about everything, because I felt I could trust him or something for some stupid reason. But, maybe that's a little too cruel, but, or at least for me at that time, but I talked to them, and we're like, oh, okay. And so, yeah, but things were just getting worse and worse. And I was having anxiety attacks, especially because of that. And I'm like, oh, gosh, I'm not even safe on the way to work, And I mean, things are just getting worse and worse and worse. I can't take this. And it was just so bad. And I was thinking things. I finally started... I remember, like, I had talked to Zach Garfield a couple times. And, well, like, once in the duplex, that's where Dad kind of met him, a little bit. Because Zach left, like, I think it was the Christmas before the end of my mission. Because I remember, because he'd be home for Christmas. But I talked with them a couple times after the mission, and, like, once or twice. And I was just having such a hard time. And I don't know, maybe I texted him a couple times, like, when I was having trouble with anxiety attacks or something like that. Or no, I talked to Elder Balls when I was having anxiety attacks, because I'm like, well, you're someone I trust, you're someone I know, and you could probably give me good advice about this. I think I tried with Zach once, but I don't really remember now, but wrote it down, I'm sure, in my journal or something, but just having a hard time. And I went, and there was one night, normally we had fights in the evenings, or I think, but we had fights and stuff like that, Dad and I, and I mean, Noah was having problems there too, and Dad was like, well, you're not a parent, don't. And I mean, and I was just trying to keep things fair and even to the best of my ability, but at the same time, I didn't really trust with a lot of things Dad did or said, and I didn't feel it was right. And you got to stand up for what you believe, and and that's something I never really did before the mission, and that's something I always wanted to do after. And I don't know, I hope I'm not blowing this up a little bit, but I mean, I felt a certain way, and I'm like, this isn't right. I need to say something. And like a lot of times, those were the thoughts that I had. This isn't right. I need to say something. And I was trying to hold my tongue, things like that, but I just didn't agree with everything Dad did or said. Mostly how he handled things, I just didn't agree with it. And I rarely could say why I didn't agree with it, but There were also lots of times where I said, Dad, try doing this, or Dad, you need to do this. Or there were times where I was saying things, I don't even know what I was saying. But I was telling Dad certain things. I'm like, this is how it is. This, you did this, da, 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 da. And I was saying a lot of things. I don't remember most of what I said, but I don't feel it was wrong. Like, because I was having such a hard time processing anything at that time while I was with Dad. For the majority of the time, I mean, everything was always getting worse. I couldn't handle, I was having more and more anxiety. I could barely remember what I did like an hour before. Or maybe that was the limit. I don't know. I don't remember very much because I couldn't process a lot. And I mean, there was times where Dad could only talk to me certain times of the day because, or he could only like discuss certain things with me at certain times of the day because I would not be able to process it otherwise. Like schedule stuff. Like, no, he could not. There's no way he could talk to me in the evening about it. I didn't have processing power for it, and there were just things like that, and I couldn't understand why, and I was having such a hard time, and it was like just getting worse, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how I could do. I didn't know, and I'm trying to understand things, trying to stand up for what I know, and things are just so hard, and I didn't know why, and I'm trying to sort myself out. And I went to a therapist for a while, and I mean, it worked a little bit, I thought, and I eventually got a dog named Casey, and I felt it was good and everything, and then I was having a hard time dealing with that because Dad didn't want her to be inside at all. New house, new everything. He didn't want her to be inside, and I'm like, well, yeah, but I mean, and I was thinking, I don't know, there was just a lot of things, and I realized I guess I wasn't ready for that, but I was just having such a hard time, and I got so mad with Dad. And I'm like, I need to calm down. I can't be with you right now. And I go to my room and I lock the door and I just need to be in the room. And to put something else in perspective, there were times, so before I came and lived with Dad, Megan had lived with Dad, and according to Dad, she was always kind of like lazy, not really doing anything, stuff like that. She wasn't doing good things or something. I don't know if he knew if she was doing good things or not. I don't remember what he said concerning that, but I don't know. He felt like she was being really lazy and stuff like that. And I don't know anything about if good things or not. I don't even know why I said that, but he felt she was being really lazy and things like that. And I don't know, maybe he felt she wasn't setting a good example for Noah. I think that's another thing. But yeah, and like she would say things, but it's like, oh, well, she wasn't doing that or something. I don't know. Dad would say a lot of things, but apparently there was a circumstance or event that happened where he and Ming got in a really bad fight, I guess in front of Noah or something. And like, I don't know, something happened in the bathroom, which was like almost directly down from like the door. Like you couldn't see it, but like if you turned a little bit, like go down the hall a little bit, turn, then there was a bathroom. It was between Dad's room and mine at the end of the house, in the duplex, and something happened, or like Dad fell in the tub, or Megan fell in the tub, or something like that. Or it was so bad that Dad kicked Megan out pretty much and changed the locks. And it's just like Megan was so bad or something when she did that. And I had spent time with Megan before, and she didn't like being with Dad at all. And I don't think Megan or Mason really ever have liked being with Dad. Maybe when we were really young, but I mean, they've always had problems with Dad, and I've always been the one kid that like really tried to take Dad's side, even if I didn't understand everything going on. I've always done that since I was young, and I was one that would forgive quickly, and so I wouldn't notice everything. And I've just been like that always, and now I see that more now, how I didn't realize things because of that, and because of what people have said and what I've put together and started to understand. So anyway, so I don't know if it was in this fight or maybe it was one somewhat previous. But at some point, I remember Dad compared me and said, "This is just like what Megan did," or like you're acting like how Megan did. And I said, "Don't you dare." And I wish I was saying "Don't you dare" because that's my sister, but it was more "Don't you dare compare me to what you were saying was so bad." Plus, that is my sister, but it wasn't so much that's my sister out of love. I guess I don't really understand. I don't know why I took such offense to that, but I did. And now I'm like, good. I'm glad I you could compare me to Megan because Megan got it. You still don't, or you don't, or you're just trying not to. You're trying to avoid it. I don't know. But anyway, it'll still make more sense pretty soon if it's not already making sense. But I remember, well, this time at least, I retreated to my room. I'm like, "Oh, I need to calm down. I just need to spend some time away." And it's like night. It's dark outside, you know. And Dad comes and he's trying to get in my room. I'm like, I'm trying to have a safe area. Please stop, stop, stop. And our voices are elevated. My throat hurts. I'm so tired of all of this. And Dad's he's banging on my door, trying to get in my room. Blah, blah. And I'm like, and I think I grabbed my Switch, which my Switch is very important to me, my Nintendo Switch, because I bought that when Grandma passed away, Grandma Joe. And Grandma Joe and Grandpa John were some of the only things that, in a way, kind of seemed stationary in my life because I moved around a lot when I was young. Everything was always changing. There was so much drama and stuff, but they were always stationary, you know? Even like they moved at one point, Grandma and Grandpa McDonald, they moved, but I mean, things were always kind of stationary. And with them, at least, because like we didn't see them often, but when we did see them, they were always Grandma and Grandpa, you know? Things didn't change very much, I felt, and it was good. I always liked that. But I lost Grandma and Grandpa Taylor both on the during the mission, and then it was I lost three grandparents in 3 years. And I lost Grandma Joe, and it was before, like they were sensing something like that, or they could tell something was going to happen because she wasn't really doing good. And I think it was Dad was gone for like a week when it happened. He just went down there by himself. I'm like, I would like to come too, but I don't know, it was more just like him and his mom or something like that. I wanted to come, I really did, and maybe I don't know if I just didn't take the time off work or what, or maybe I couldn't. I don't know. I don't remember, but I was just home alone. And he didn't have Noah, or he traded with Misty or whatever. I don't know. And also, Dad was always having problems with Misty or whatever. Now I see why Misty was having any problems with him because of him being narcissist, but and stuff. But I also don't want to just dissuade or persuade you into thinking that Dad's some good guy or anything, because he's not. He's a narcissist, and unfortunately, he won't change. Whether it's possible or not, I don't know. I think it is, because anything is possible through Christ. But anyway, back to what I'm trying to say. With that Switch, I bought that because Grandma died on the 27th, which is the same day that my other grandma died on a mission a year previous. Same day I lost both grandmas on the 27th of December, right after Christmas. And I mean, I felt like I needed to pick me up, and I went and bought that Switch. It was the last one in stock at GameStop. I tried Walmart, I tried Target, everywhere. I found one at GameStop. It was the last one, and the people behind me in line who let me, I don't know, I went in front of them, or I went there, and then they came in the door, like while I had it in my hand or something. They were looking for it, and they were trying to buy the same one. It was a family, but I'm like, I'm sorry. I've been wanting this for a long time, and I don't know. I thought maybe I should give it to them, but I'm like, oh well, I did have it, so I don't know all their circumstances, so I decided I'm just not gonna worry about that. So yeah, but so that Switch to me, if I lose it, I don't know. I mean, it's an earthly possession, but at the same time, when I really try and think about it, like in moments like now, it kind of means grandma to me a little bit. It's not like whenever I look at it, I think of her or anything, but when I think about it, think about when I got it, why I got it, it was a pick me up because grandma. And it was something to keep me from thinking about her. And it did its job. And I don't know, that's just my Switch. And that's why I took my Switch. It wasn't so I could just go play games. It was if I could play games. It's so I could go play games if I needed to cool down or something. If that's what I felt like I needed to do. But what I did, I grabbed my Switch in my room. I grabbed my Switch, maybe another thing or two, jacket, I don't know, shoes, and I went out of my room, walked right past. I didn't care if they said or did anything. I walked right past. I had my keys and everything. I went and got in the car and I drove out of the neighborhood a little bit to the church right next to it, just to the parking lot. And I remember driving out of our street when I was going out in the neighborhood. I was going fast. I didn't care. I'm like, and I remember thinking straight up, if I die tonight, I don't care. I don't care. I'm so done. I don't care. I'm too tired. If something hits me or if I run into anything and I die, I don't care. That's just how I felt. I did not care if I died or not. And that's really down there, you know. That's really down there. That's very depressing. That's very I mean, it's not like I will accept this. It's I don't care. I don't care if I accept it or not. I don't care if any I didn't care about anything. I didn't care about life. I didn't care at all. And I still don't really understand that, but that's how I felt. And so I went and drove there. I was so sad. I didn't understand what was going on. I don't even remember what any of the fights were about, you know? I mean, I know what some of them might have been, but that I don't remember what that one was even about. But maybe it was just that I said something when Dad didn't want me to. But it was probably something with Noah where I was like, "No, that's not right," or something like that. Whenever I said something, I didn't say it like that. Like, "No, that's not right, Dad." I didn't. I wasn't like that. I tried to be respectful, but Dad wouldn't see that it was respect or anything. He just saw me button in where I didn't need to or I shouldn't have because I'm not a parent. Only he's the parent. And I mean, a lot of times, like if I was saying something I shouldn't have, just say, "Alex, I'll talk to you after this," calmly. But you don't say, "Alex, get out of this." No, that's not really a kind way to go about it. I recently, or while I was, I remember before I worked at the Megaplex, I went to that Megaplex on a YSA thing, Young Single Adult Ward activity or something, where we went and watched A Wonderful Day in the Neighborhood, which was kind of a thing about a guy that was interviewing Mr. Rogers and how it impacted his life, and really great thing. I loved that. That totally kind of changed me. I wanted